Wow, it's that time again. Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Philippines uh, day and time, live from Bye Bye City, Leyte. We're live with Sir Dan's. Welcome. I see I got two guests in the chat already. Two guests wanting to hear what Dan has to say today. That amazes me that even one person, oh, now we're down to one, would even want to listen to anything that Dan has to say. Anyway, uh, you folks listening, let me know if you can hear me okay because I hooked up my directional mic again, or my condenser mic, I guess it is, and I got wires running everywhere. And I'm using the wide angle camera or the tweaker camera. I'm not sure what you call it, but anyway, I got that all set up. Anyway, let me take a sip of Java while the notifications go out. See, I see Anime. Anime, thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate that. And we got, let's see. Good morning, Sir Dan. Anime, one of the most loveliest people I've ever met. Thanks for sharing this morning and coming to the live. And we got Leonard Lund from Houston, Texas. Is that Houston or Houston? Thanks for letting me know that you can hear me fine. LV Rose is in the house. LV, thank you so much for coming. Let's see, what do I got going on? I got Google Voice sending me a text message. I got YouTube Live is telling me that I'm live on YouTube. Larry Lee is here. Thank you, Larry, for coming to the live. Hey, that was I like the video a lot. I mean, it's brave, to, let people in when you have a potential health issue occurring, but the instructional videos or the reminders to always be vigilant and check, the skin to make sure you're not seeing noticeable changes, in the skin. Well, those reminders are very, very important. And I try to do one or two a year, myself. You've heard me talk about a couple of things that I've gone through in the past. But by the way, the friends that we met in Thailand, we were just talking about skin cancer. One of the gentlemen that we hooked up with there had already had a couple of operations where he has active cases of skin cancer, and they have to go pretty deep in the skin in order to get that junk out of there. But luckily, he's vigilant. Larry, as you suggested in your video, to beware and to get things checked out if stuff starts showing up and it doesn't look right. And so that's what he tells me that he was doing. And that's how they caught that couple of instances of skin cancer. And so we were just talking about it. And then you do a video. Selexis Vlog 1719, welcome here. Anime, what do you say? Is it going to be your favorite day today? And you get the big wave, the official wave of the Philippines. Hey, what did I want to talk about today? I want to talk about something important, really important. Well, quite frankly, I'm very egocentric, so I feel kind of like that anything that I come online to talk about is important. But maybe it's not. Oh, it's stuff that we've talked about before. Yeah, of course it is. Let me see. Let me follow my link here. Let me follow my link on my telephone to see what's going on. Oh, by the way, while I'm setting things up here, uh, I had an interesting thing that we did this week. So way in the back of the house, I said way in the back because I want you to. I'm trying to get you to believe it's a really big house, right? Well, probably by Filipino standards, it's a fairly large house, but it's just a medium house if you're going by Western standards. So anyway, but back in the house, back in the way in the back 40, right? We have these two rooms. One of them is you have to climb up these stairs. Um, it's primarily living quarters. It's another bedroom, and then down below is storage. Well, that storage room down below, I'm trying to add some things to it so I could use it to live stream and use it as the office. Oh, thank you. Same to you. Happy Valentine's Day. I forgot all about it. Thanks for reminding me. I would have been in a heap of trouble. I wonder if Dunkin' and Pizza Hut are going to sell those heart-shaped donuts and pizzas this year. What do you think, LV? What do you think, Anna May? Yeah. So anyway, but we weren't getting a solid signal for internet. So, oh yeah, it shows that back here because the sun. If you're working out there in the sun, you're gonna. Well, I think my dermatologist said the most common place is going to be the top of the head and the nose, and then the back of the neck. Yeah, for skin cancer. Anyway, so we're trying to set up signal strength, improve signal strength in the back, of the house, so that I could do live streams from there, and I could work, do everything we need to do, right? And so, but it was weak, and we were getting disconnects and stuff like that. So we called the cable company, and we have an old 1960s modem. I don't know if the internet was around in 1960, but it's an old antique modem. I don't even think they use those things in the States anymore. But oh, Charmaine is here. Hi, Hi, Charmaine. Listen, Charmaine, you're on my mind. Okay, I just wanted to say that you're on my mind. All right. So now, Larice is here. Larice, were you first today? Were you first? I think not. I think not, Larice. You and I are going to have a talk about that later. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lorna, thanks for being here. What was I talking about? Okay, so we called the cable company and we're saying, hey, this signal strength is very, very poor. It doesn't permeate. I like that word, permeate, throughout the house. And that's all, is there a solution? Blah, 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 blah. So they said we'll send a technician over, right? So I'm thinking, okay, 6 or 8 months from now, somebody's going to show up at the house and they're going to take a look around and figure out what they need to do in order to get this signal to permeate throughout the house. Well, of course, in the meantime, I'm thinking about it. I'm going, you know what? That signal probably, the modem should probably be in the ceiling because the walls are concrete, right? The walls are 4-inch concrete with the coating on it, the top coating. And I was watching when they did the top coating, right? They slathered that bad boy on. There's probably another inch of top coating, on top of the concrete hollow block on the inside and outside of those rooms. But man, they are smooth as a baby's ass, or at least as smooth as your baby's ass. Well, anyway, I do apologize if I offended anyone for saying that. But anyway, yeah, I guarantee you my ass is not as smooth as a newborn baby's ass. Yeah, Yes, I should stop. I shall stop. Well, anyway, so because of the signals on top, right? If it's in the attic, underneath the roof line, then of course the signal's going to permeate throughout the entire house. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, what's another alternative? Something I did in the house in Sacramento was um, we had unlimited high-speed internet that could hold something like 100 devices. I mean, I got the premium internet. I wanted that available no matter where, right? But out in where I converted a single car garage into a studio apartment, we weren't getting the signal so clearly. So what I did was I put a slave modem out there. So I had an old modem hanging around, and I hardwired it. I came off the main modem, and then I ran T1 connection out there to the house. Set another modem up there so they could have wireless connection from wherever they were in the room, and that thing turned out to be the selling point of that unit. What I mean by selling point is I rented it. A person that moved in there lived there for years until we sold the house and moved away to the Philippines. So then I thought, oh yeah, why did I not think of that? That all we needed is a slave modem and put it in the back. And then that should solve our problem. And then if it doesn't, as long as that slave modem is close enough to where we need to use it, we could just run a T connection wire directly from that modem to the laptop. But I doubt that it's going to be necessary to do that. We've been testing it. Everything is fine. I skipped a step. I often do that. I often fail to tell the whole story. Within 10 minutes of making the phone call, a team of technicians show up at the house. A team of technicians from Globe or whoever handles their subcontracting for doing the installation for the modem show up at the house. There's a knock on the door. I open it, and I was stunned. I was standing there with my mouth hanging open like this. I was like that. I started becoming confused, dazed and confused, because I started to think, what country am I in? What country am I in? This cannot be Piñas. This cannot be Piñas, but it is, and it was. The guys almost in unison. One guy was off half a key, right? Say, oh, are you Mr. Dan? We're here from Globe to fix your modem. I was like, what? I thought I was going to have some kind of event right then and there. But come in, guys. Come in. Can I get you a beer? No, I didn't say that. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, don't get me started. We're going to be talking about the beer thing in a minute. I have something to say about that. So the rest of the story is the guy goes, hey, we got two ideas. The first one is we run the modem into the ceiling. The second idea is we run a slave modem to the back of the house. And then I go, light bulb. I go, yeah, you guys know what you're doing here. Yeah, I trust you guys to make the right decision. Do either or. You have my permission. And so the guys decided that, to run, we'll be here an extra 15 or 20 minutes if we have to run a long power cable, up there into the attic, but I had power available all over the place. I have enough that it doesn't pull very many amps, one of those little boxes. So they could have run one up to the ceiling if they wanted to and just place the modem just about anywhere up there. But they opted for running the slave modem. And so in the end, I think that was actually the better decision. You were not first, Larice. No, Krispy Kreme donuts for you. No, that's not true. Larice, all you have to do is smile and I will send you for Krispy Kreme. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. I don't have load on my Gcash. You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait until I load up my Gcash. Just a reminder that Charmaine is here. In case anyone wanted to know, Charmaine is here. And Mingay is here. Good morning, Mingay. You have been like sharing my videos and you've been doing, you've been sending out invitations for people to come to my channel. I really appreciate that. That's right. Larry's got it right. You will always be first in our hearts, even though you have abandoned me for somebody else. That's okay, Larice. Yeah, that's all right. Aw, that's love. There's almost too much love going on Dan's channel. Yeah. I am not the most sensitive guy in the room. And as a matter of fact, nor am I the most understanding or the nicest. I'm sure of that. And we're going to validate that or verify that, or you're going to find out for sure in a moment when I start talking about today's subject matter, which you guys don't know what it is because I didn't warn you. But I tested it out at the Dunkin' Donuts yesterday amongst the other expats, and they were not, oh, hell no, Dan, you're not going to talk about that again. Are you going to rehash that same old subject again and again and again until we kill us? You know, we know how you feel about that. We already know. Well, I'm like, you guys are the ones that keep putting YouTube videos out talking about this crap, and then I have to come in and I have to do the play-by-play. You know, I have to be the color man. You know, in other words, I have to give you the world according to Dan. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't give you my opinion on the kind of crap that some of you are posting. Not any of you Filipinos, by the way, just like to point out. Filipinos like to concentrate on things from the heart and the stomach, right? Love, food, family, Valentine's Day. You know, why don't I have a man? That was one that I saw somebody post. Why don't I have a man for Valentine's Day? Isn't there a place that you can go, Larice? No, listen. Listen, I wasn't implying that you need to go to the Rent-A-Man company to hire a man for Valentine's Day. I wasn't implying that. Angelica's in the house. Hello, Angela. I always say Angela. I think even when I talk to you occasionally on the chat, I always say Angela instead of Angelica. Angelica, one of my most favorite fans. And one of my most long-term ones too, I believe. I don't think any Filipinas are going to bail on my live stream for what I'm going to talk about because it mostly is talking about the same old tired crap again. But before I get started, what was I going to do here? Oh, yeah. I think I forgot to do a couple things here, right? Let me see. I said I was going to set up this thing in case we wanted to invite someone up on the panel. Let's see. I need to hit this invite button. I haven't done it in such a long time that I forgot how to do it. And we copy. And then we paste. Copy. Control V, and then we paste it. Let's see if I did that okay. Let's see if it shows up somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now let's see. I go to my thing and I pin it, right? I go to my phone and I do something with it, right? Dan, pin message. Okay. All right. So, one or two of you, or three or five or 10 may have an opinion about stuff that I'm going to say. Keep your opinions to yourself. Marion is here. I just noticed Marion being here. Thank you, Marion, for being here. I really appreciate it. And Leonard says, "Hey, you're very popular. You're very popular. I notice around the chats." Where was I? Getting on with it. Oh, okay. Let's just dive into it. And if anyone's available and they want to come up and they want to put in their 2 cents, I mean that's all it's worth. What I'm about to say, then you can come up here and. Oh, okay. Thank you, Larice. Larice, are you listening to me? You didn't make any comment when I said something about the Rent-A-Man company, for Valentine's Day. You just ignored me. All right, so now let's talk about. Oh, by the way, you guys know I follow through with stuff I'm going to say most of the time anyway. But so I promised Larice, or not Larice, I promised Crystal's adventure, right? Annie, I promised her that I would send her off an elephant that I brought as a souvenir from Thailand. And it all started out as a joke where she wanted me to bring an actual elephant in my carry-on luggage. So, but instead, I ended up getting something that looks a little bit like this. And then I'm sending it to her LBC. And I did get it in the mail. I just wanted to show you. Now you know everybody's address, including Crystal's. All you have to do is freeze frame that. And now you're going to know where Crystal's lives. But anyway, don't show up. Don't stalk Crystal. She's one heck of a nice person. Don't stalk her. And don't stalk me, for crying out loud. All right, but that does have something to do with what we're going to talk about today. Not stalking, but I think you would have to stalk somebody if you wanted to pull this off. And so, what I want to talk about is Calvin at Sunshine Shoulders. If you haven't subscribed to Calvin's channel, I encourage you to go and subscribe. Calvin, his channel has matured so much, and I enjoy watching the channel so much. But I was a little bit perplexed on one of his videos that he posted recently, and I want to talk about that. I was perplexed. I was confused. And you know me. Yeah, stop, Dan. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know me. I'm just happy-go-lucky Dan. And but if you say something, like most of you, you're going to fact check me. And then if you say something that sounds odd to me on your YouTube channel, I'm going to go check it out. So I have a couple of those instances to discuss today, and I hope that I don't offend anyone. All I'm doing is giving you my 2 cents worth. That's all I'm doing. By the way, while I have everybody's attention, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me the thumbs up if you like the channel. Otherwise, if you don't, have a nice day. Just the same. Jerry's in the house. Jerry from South Texas. The train guy. And the walk and talk through the suburbs of Mexico, which I really enjoy. The Philippines, of course, reminds me of that culture for obvious reasons. Oh, by the way, there is so my last name being Herrera or Herrera, if you want to Americanize the pronunciation, but I don't speak Spanish anyway. It was Herrera. there's the name of a street, Arata Street, in the Philippines. So I try to explain to my wife, this is my origin. This is the reason why I adapt so well to the Philippines. It's because this is my home. I keep trying to explain to her. I keep trying to explain that I'm as much Filipino as anybody that lives here, maybe even more so, And then, of course, she starts talking about the conquerors and, rat. She uses the word rat bastard a few times, but no. Oh, not in reference to the Herrera thing, in reference to other stuff. Oh my goodness, where do I get this? Where do I get this? I steal it from other people. I think I have 3 different YouTube channels I want to talk about today, right? And so I hope that you guys still are listening to me after after I tell you what I'm going to tell you. If all of a sudden everybody empties out of the live stream, I'm pretty much going to know I made a mistake right away. All right, so we're talking about Calvin, a man who I admire so much. He reminds me, I'm going to also be talking about Steve at the Philippine Information Channel. These 2 guys, right? They're regular folks. They're just regular folks trying to help out their fellow man by the dissemination of information. That's how YouTube rolls. Right now, I'm a latecomer to YouTube, so that means that if you were pre-COVID, if you were pre-event, your YouTube channel is probably going skyrocket. You probably have all kind of members, just subscribers, all kind of views to your channel and stuff like that. I could share the same information. I get 1 view. I'm a latecomer. I'm post event. What I mean is that people that had nothing to do except sit there and watch the YouTube channel all day during the lockdown. During the global lockdown, you know what I'm talking about, the global lockdown, where everybody couldn't come out of their house, especially young and old people. Well, there was nothing to do except be entertained. We all would grab our cell phones and we would watch YouTube, and that's how a lot of YouTube channels grew. Yeah, I know it's sour grapes. Dan, are you saying that they're all crappy channels and the only reason we watch them is because we got nothing else to do? And I'm saying, why are you guys watching me? Huh? I know some of you are cooking breakfast while you got me on. And then others, they're like, I wish Dan would just tone it down a little bit so I could go to sleep. All right, let's get on with it. All right, so Sunshine Shoulders, Calvin, starts talking about kidnappings in the Philippines. I go, huh? Kidnappings in the Philippines? Kidnapping in the Philippines? Are you running out of material, Calvin? Listen, if any of you know Calvin, you might want to let him know. Dan's talking smack about you, Calvin. And then Calvin could go up there and click on the link, and then he could come in here and he could challenge me. But it's not a thing that he would have to challenge me on. When he said that the Philippines is the number 1 country for kidnappings in the world, it caught my attention, me being the statistician kind of guy that I am. I go, no, I don't think so. I do not think so. Right. And there's a whole lot of information that goes along with that. And why I like Calvin so much is because he did qualify his point. You see, he started giving us the qualifying facts, the ones that I read about after the fact when I started doing my research. And Calvin, so here's the thing, it all depends on how you're interpreting it. But you can interpret this 10 ways to Sunday, and the Philippines under any category doesn't come anywhere near being the number 1 country for kidnappings. You see, and that's the whole thing. And I looked at 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 websites trying to find out where Calvin got this information. Then I ran into a YouTube video Folks, don't accept information on YouTube as being factual, even if it's being presented that way, right? Even if it's being presented that way, you have to do your own research. And I think that the YouTubers delivering information, they're okay as long as they say, fact check me on this. And so I'm saying to you, fact check me on this. And then I'm going to give you my points of reference, which I believe Calvin did not do. Now, if Calvin had put up there that go to this website and check this out, then I'm okay with this, right? But when you're not allowed to, you're not really, when you're in academics, right? Most of you know, and I think Calvin probably knows also. You're even on YouTube. You're not really. It's an academic faux pas, if you will, if you don't deliver your point of reference. So all Calvin had to say was, and maybe he did and I missed it. So if you guys want to go to Calvin and watch that video, you can go and say, well, he did qualify. He said this guy at this YouTube channel said this, and then boom, he's covered. You know, he wouldn't get any arguments from anybody, including me, right? But every once in a while, I take issue with some of the stuff people are saying, and this week it just happens to be from Calvin, a person that I admire to no end. I'm always watching his channel. He would never know that I'm there because I'm lurking in the background. I'm lurking in the background on most of your all's channel, including Tim's. All right. I know you guys criticize me about that, saying, Dan, at least let us know that you're there. But no, I'll show up and I'll see what you guys are up to. I do it often. All right, so now, but I'm not spending all day there. Somebody sent me a message one time, Dan, you don't come to my live streams anymore. I don't have time. I have time to put together my own and to do a couple of videos, and my entire week is history. It's history. But it does not mean that I don't go into your channel and watch your videos. I go in there and I will watch snippets of your videos to get ideas. I will steal the idea if I can because I'm a thief. All right, so I'm perplexed. So why did Sunshine Shoulders, why did Calvin feel the need to put this out there, right? That, oh, by the way, he also says that even though there are many kidnappings in the Philippines, you don't have to worry about being kidnapped. And I was like, wait a minute. He just said that the Philippines is the #1 country for being kidnapped, and then said that, but you don't have to worry about it. Let me further explain. But before I do, right, I'm gonna tell you where I went for information. I went to worldpopulationreview.com. That's worldpopulationreview.com. Who says that the #1 country for kidnappings is Kuwait. But #2, I don't believe. You see, this is the problem with going to the internet for information. They say #2 is Canada. #3, Belgium, then South Africa, New Zealand, Pakistan, Eswatini, and the United Kingdom. By the way, there are 143 countries in the world, I believe. Tim, fact check me on this. I know you will. But I don't even know. I couldn't even stand here and rattle off the names of 50 countries. It would be impossible for me. And some of the names of the countries I've never even heard of before. I have never even heard of before. What's a person to do? It's cattle wrestling. Yeah, I know that because you mentioned that before. That's the #1 crime in the Philippines. It's cattle wrestling. So from a factual perspective, I went around looking, okay, I still, Calvin is not known for putting out bad information or questionable information. Where did he get it from? So I went in, I started looking all over the place. Where is it? Where's this information that he's getting, right? And, they're YouTubers. It's not Calvin that does this. He typically doesn't do this, right? That do they do a little bit of fear mongering just for clickbait. But that isn't what Calvin's motivation was on this video, I don't believe. And quite frankly, I don't believe that he's ever done this. I don't believe that Calvin has done anything that I can recall that could be put in the category of clickbaiting people. Right? In other words, you might see a video that somebody will put up that says, "Don't retire to the Philippines because you have a 1 in 10 chance of being kidnapped, and never seen or heard from again." Really? Really? I'm telling you, if somebody ever kidnapped me after the first 10 minutes of me opening my mouth, they would let me go. They wouldn't request any ransom. They would just say, "Oh, you can go now." "No, I want to stay." "No, you can go." "I want to stay." "No, no, no. No, no, no. You go. Go now." Okay, so then I looked at this. So then I thought, I did what you guys would do, right? I did exactly what any one of you would do. I went and I said, okay, maybe he's talking about number one tourist kidnapping countries. So I went in to Google search and I put in, what is the number one kidnapping tourist country, right? And I still did not get a hit. I still did not get a match. The Philippines was so far down the list that I couldn't even find it. Yeah. So what's up with that? And so if you go to Statista.com, you will see that the Philippines had 27 reported kidnappings. Now, Calvin is an extremely smart guy. Just would like to point that out. He's very smart. And so he actually in the conversation said something like, there's a difference between reported and unreported kidnappings. Most go unreported. You see, now that kind of like made things a little bit better for me in my head. Because then if he's speaking that, the Philippines is the number one country in the world for kidnappings and most kidnappings go unreported, that sentence right there, right, would make me just go, nobody's perfect. I scratch my head and that's the end of it, right? But that's not the way it was presented. Over time, he adds these factoids as he's going along. He did a really, really good job on this video. I encourage you to watch it because it's going to put everything in perspective. And if you're not a subscriber to Calvin's channel, you're missing out. You need to be. By the way, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, you're missing out. But I believe that each one of you are subscribers. All right, so now, so you go to Statista and they'll say that the Philippines had 27 reported kidnapping cases in 2022. The number was at its height in 2019 with 85. And Calvin brought this up. The type of people that are kidnapped come into play here. They come into play. People think that most kidnappings are happening in the South, right? Abu Sayyaf kidnapped my uncle, and they wanted ransom, and they didn't pay it, and we never saw our uncle again. Yeah, nobody would pay for me, so I'm just letting Abu Sayyaf know in advance. Nobody's going to pay for me. There's no need to kidnap me. But the more I learn about these organizations, right? Well, yeah, that's what I mean. How would anybody know? You could make any statement that you want when you're referring to unreported kidnappings, right, Tim? So anyway, maybe I misunderstood him. Listen, I misunderstood. I'm in a hurry. I'm doing stuff while I'm watching videos. I might even be working on my own. So if you discover that, you got this all wrong, Dan, that wasn't what he was saying, then please let me know. But he'll receive no apology from me. No, because actually I'm not really I'm not really saying anything for which Calvin would be angry at me about, right? I'm just pointing out that because I'm a factoid information sort of guy, there's certain things will catch my attention. I'll go looking for the answer. I was unable to find any place on the internet anyway, I have to qualify it, that substantiates what he was saying, right? In any form, tourist, non-tourist. Okay, so then I start thinking out of the box. I know, Dan, you must not have a whole bunch of stuff to do if you have to think about this, right? If you're constantly thinking about stuff like this. Oh, people would pay them to keep me. Then you have a problem, right? Yeah, then you have to be very DL, Larry. You have to be on the down low when you're in the Philippines. All right, the Dunkin' Donuts would probably pay the ransom for you to, yeah, because they're making millions. They're making millions off of my commercials. Very funny, Tim. Very funny. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah. Okay. I couldn't find it. I looked. I searched. I could not find it. Oh my goodness gracious! I did not find it. Right. So most of the kidnaps, of course, are happening in Manila now, and the reason why. All right, Dan, give us your point of reference for that. Well, that's going to be more recent, perhaps, than the information that Calvin was giving you. Truth of the matter is that because the gambling industry, which has brought in organized crime, they're going to be searching around for the people that owe them money, because they spent a little bit too much in the casino and they offered them up credit, and so now they want to get it back. And one way to get it back is you pick them up and you have a little talk with them. This whole Calvin thing got me really interested in taking a look at what's the truth and what's fact and what's fiction. But you really can't approach it that way, right? Pretty much you can add to the discussion or add to the argument, but I can't definitively say that Calvin got his factoids wrong, because I don't know from which he was pulling the facts. So there's the facts from Dan. I can't really critique him based on those facts that he was presenting, because just because I can't find them doesn't mean that they don't exist, And then I ran into that YouTube channel, which I can't even remember the name of it, because I just kind of blew it off once I saw that, once I saw what it was all about. I blew it off because they were really bad in trying to terrify people from coming to the Philippines. But okay, so I started thinking kidnapping. I go, does child abduction fall into the category of kidnapping? That's what I started thinking about, right? Does child abduction fall into the category of kidnapping? And then I was pondering like this. Ponder. Let me think. And then I come up with this conclusion. Yes, of course it does. Child abduction, by its very definition, is a kidnapping. So does he mean there are more child abductions going on in the Philippines than any other country in the world? Dan knows the answer. But if you're interested in this topic, you should go and do your own research. And then maybe that's where Calvin was getting his information, yeah? He was taking child abduction numbers, twisting them around, which I do often, to make them fit in the box that he was trying to project, that come to the Philippines, but be aware of your surroundings. So it was a dramatic approach for legitimate concern that people visiting the Philippines or who want to transplant themselves here should be made aware of their surroundings. Okay, but let's talk about this child abduction thing for just a moment. Because you know how I am. If you watch this channel, you know how I am, right? United States. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing or is abducted in the U.S. Approximately 840,000 children are reported missing each year. Now, we know some of those kids are going to be runaway. Folks, that's an outrageous statistic. That's almost 1 million kidnapped, possibly kidnapped children every year. Would the Philippines tolerate 1 million children being kidnapped every year or being abducted? Now, this statistic did not present whether this was parent-child abduction, stranger-child abduction, or anything like that. But you would be surprised if you were seeking those answers. You would be surprised. Go in, do your own research, talk about it down below. Tell me what you're thinking. I don't think that you could be angry at me for presenting it the way that I have. I really don't, because I've been fair. I've been giving you guys some things to think about. 1 million children in the United States disappear every year. Folks, does that make you want to marry an expatriate and move your family, your children to the United States? Does that really make you excited about moving your kids to the USA? I think not. Because I think that when people move here, no matter what country they're from, one of the things that gets talked about all the time is how it reminds them of their youth, growing up when they were a kid, and how they have the freedom to play, play basketball, ride their bikes if they have one. The neighbors will always be looking out after your children because everybody in the barangay knows who they are. This is very much how the United States was back when I was growing up, but no more, no more, no more. You feel much more comfortable if your children are in the house, in the bedroom, and you know that they're on the internet doing illegal things. They most likely aren't. All right, so we're done with that topic. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section. And I'll do my best to get back to you on that. Now, a lot of you know that I've been giving like hearts, when usually I will answer each comment individually. And I just got to say that because of traveling and things like that, we were overwhelmed. And it became almost impossible for me to answer each comment individually. But I just want to let you know that the reason and that, starting to get busier and busier as the channel moves forward and we get more comments and more interest, then we're spending an awful lot of time answering the comments and doing different things, coming up with ideas for new videos. And so it does not mean that I don't love you. That's why I send you the heart back, and I'll tell you, thank you for watching and thank you for contributing. And definitely thank you for sharing the videos. The folks that are doing this for me all the time, that are also here in the chat, I just want to let you know that I truly, truly appreciate you doing that for me, because it helps a small channel like mine out a lot. Irene is in the house. All right. So what happened to Abby? That's what I would know. What happened to Abby? Okay, Abby. Let's see. Abby, you're here. Okay, so Abby, you now have a jacket. Abby's here. I'm a generous guy. I'm gonna admit it. I'm just plain gonna admit it. I'm a generous guy. So I'm giving you a free jacket. All right. So now moving on. Now the next video I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about where Dan's critiquing what people say. And I end up turning into some goofy guy that wants to get YouTube video hits simply by criticizing other YouTube channels. That's not really what I'm all about. I mean, if you feel that I'm going that direction, an Andy Omar kind of guy, then by the way, is Andy Omar even still around? Because every once in a while, right, I'll see pictures show up of Andy Omar online, and in the background is downtown Bye Bye City Leyte. So I have a feeling, guys, that Andy Omar lives somewhere close by, but I have never seen him. I have never seen Andy Omar. I've never seen him walking down the street. If I did see him, I would go up and say hello and introduce myself to him. Now, Andy Omar once sent me a message saying, "Hey, I really, really like your channel. I hope we get a chance to meet someday." And so I kind of know why, because he probably is working or living somewhere in the area. And so hopefully we'll run into Andy Omar someday. In the meanwhile, you should know Bye Bye City Leyte has heck of YouTubers who are located right here in Bye Bye City. It amazes me. Larry says, Dan, back in the mid 60s when I was living in Casey, Illinois, I did something on the other side of town. My dad would know about it before I got home. Yeah, because they would call your dad or your mom. My mom first, because she was a stay-at-home mom. And then, she would tell my dad, and then I would die. Yeah, that's what I am. I'm a social commentator, pretty much. And but Tim, you brought up an important point, right? That probably should be the direction the channel goes in the future. Hey, what's going on? What's going on here? Let me hit this fan. It's getting a little humid and hot in here. Yeah, if you hear the fan on in the background, yeah, it's been raining a lot here, and the humidity is killing me. Okay, so yes, Tim, people have told me that that I should bail on the whole travel video thing, and I should just do daily live streams, and I'm kind of liking that idea because one, I have a lot of information to share in my head, and it's very difficult, to do the types of videos, travel videos that people are interested in seeing. And so, by the way, Calvin, I said I was going to wrap this discussion about Calvin up. He said that he lost 25% of his views once he stopped showing like 10 seconds of, a Filipino walking down the street, stuff like that. You guys know what I mean. He didn't really say that. He was just implying that, he got more views when he was out there filming videos, I guess, of beautiful women. I think he was implying that, but I'm not sure. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But he says once he started doing that, he started doing social commentary, then his views started to drop, a little bit. 25% is what he implied. We all know what you have to do to get the easy views if you want to attract Western men. And right now, my audience is primarily young Filipina single moms. That's my primary audience, 80 something percent, and only a small percentage are men from the United States or from the West. Very small percentage. Daily live streams is very difficult to do, but not so difficult if you're watching YouTube and then you're seeing what's hot and what's not. You can go in there and actually get an idea of what is topical by watching other people's streams. And then if you have some knowledge about it, you can filter in your opinion or information. All right, so now up number 2, next. How long have I been going? Okay, an hour. All right. An hour talking about that? That's impossible. I know what you're thinking. I wish it were a shorter period of time, Dan. We're just here to support you. Thank you, and I appreciate it. For whatever reason you're here. We're not really here to listen to your opinion, Dan. We just want to support you. Yeah, I saw that email. Steve, the Filipino Information Channel, another lovely man, another man who you know for sure that Steve at the Information Channel, Philippine Information Channel, is always speaking from the heart. Larry Lee, how you be?
Oh, not too bad. Just wanted to come up and say hi.
Hi. Hello, thanks for being here. Okay, so getting on with Steve, but you're a fan of Steve, and so this is perfect timing.
Yes,
See,
I'm a fan.
I'm also a fan, right? But Steve, sometimes, right, he takes a needle and pokes me in the side. Now, I know that he's not poking me in the side, right? But it seems like he is. It seems like Steve is trying to get me angry, So, the subjects that I'm talking about that he always likes to take a poke at. Yeah, medical care and the sweet spot budget. Folks, let's tie Calvin and Steve together this way, right? So Steve gets on there. He gets on his latest YouTube. You know which one. You know which one, Larry. He gets up on there and he says, whoa, looks like I was right. And all the YouTubers are backing away from their $1,000 monthly budget. And I was sitting there
$800.
Yeah. Ha. He was talking about Calvin, and he was.
I don't follow Calvin, so I can't say.
Well, the video before this one, right? The one that I'm referring to about kidnappings. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Like I said,
Calvin is saying
Calvin
said I have to back away from my $1,000 per month budget, right? So, but Steve, he takes it to the next level, right? He says, I keep telling you guys from the very beginning that you need to have up to $3,000 a month. Well, Steve, let me ask you a question, Steve. If you had $3,000 a month budget, would you be living in the Philippines? That's my question. My question for Steve is, Steve, $3,000 a month, I would be staying home. I wouldn't be going to the Philippines.
There are people that would. Have you ever watched Makati Maz?
Yeah, I sure have.
I bet you he's got more than $3,000 a month.
He's over 100,000 if he's a dime. Yeah. He's a rocket scientist.
And
he's a professor.
He lives in the Philippines.
Yeah, well, he's a graduate of Stony Brook University. Anybody, listen, it's a law that if you graduate from Stony Brook, right? If you graduate from Stony Brook and you aren't making 100 or 200K per year, you're not even allowed to show up to the alumni meeting. You cannot join the alumni association. That's a rule. Now, how does Dan know that? Because Dan has been to the University of New York at Stony Brook. I don't just blow smoke. Well, yeah, most of the time I blow smoke.
I've been by it.
I have actual information behind it. Trust me. And so Makati Maz is living in Makati. I looked for him when we were there.
I think he's actually in BGC.
BGC, yeah. And so, listen, you couldn't pay me to go anywhere near BGC. I like it. It's a beautiful place to live,
It
but
costs you an arm and leg.
it costs you too much money. It costs you
It
too
would,
much money.
it would cost my whole income to rent a decent apartment, a good apartment. Not I could rent because he showed some I could rent, but I wouldn't be doing anything but going out buying my food and going back home and cooking it.
Yeah, there was a
But yeah,
YouTube blogger the other day, Larry, who's going through BGC. He's saying, "Yeah, that apartment up there is $3,000 a month." Well, that's the same that you would be paying in the United States. Yeah, I get that, but why would you move to the Philippines if it was about? See, here's where I'm coming from, right? It's all a matter. This is Dan, the opinion, the world according to Dan, right? And I've said it before. All right, number one is that if you only had that $1,500 per month or $1,000 per month to live on, period, that's all you have today. That's all you're ever going to have, except for cost of living increases from Social Security. Would you be living in the United States or the Philippines? And I have to say, Steve's argument is very, very weak because he's saying, don't come here unless you have enough money to cover your rent, your food costs, and your medical. He's saying, stay in the United States where you'll never be able to afford your rent, the cost of food, and your medical care. That's what I hear when he speaks. See, if all you have is $1,500 a month coming in, or even $1,000, since 1,000 seems to be what everybody's arguing about,
yeah.
then why would you suffer by staying in the United States? Truth be told, if I only had $1,000 a month, I most likely would not be living in the Philippines, but I wouldn't be living in the United States either. Are you guys feeling me? Are you understanding my point?
Well, I'm going to disagree with you. If I only had 1,000 a month, I would live in the Philippines. But I would not want to make sure I had a decent sum before I went there. So, because I would not want to rent a furnished apartment because that would cost too much money. You know,
Tim
if
says,
you're going to live there.
Tim is saying if you want to save money, follow the 50, 30, 20 budget guidelines. I would say that's solid advice. But now, if I only had 1,000 a month, I would be living in Nicaragua. In other words, I would be my goal would be go to a country that you could plug into the national healthcare system. Go to a country who loves Americans there. Go to a country where you don't have to worry about healthcare, where you don't have to worry about ridiculous costs of rent. In other words, there are many, many more options than the Philippines. When you're looking at cheapest countries in the world to retire to, I do not believe the Philippines even makes the top 10. As a matter of fact, I believe they're somewhere in the middle of the pile. Melody.
There probably are, but my thing is English is widely spoken, and you can, as if you have 1,000, and I'm talking about. For me, the budget is not what you save; it's what you spend. Now, Steve,
That's
the
right.
budget's Steve, the budget is everything. Okay, it's what you save, it's what you spend, it's the whole enchilada.
Yeah, I
For
believe
me,
that's what Tim was pointing out, that
well,
you would take it and you'd use the rule, so much for rent, so much for food, and so much for savings, so much for medical. And then you got the thing, it's a done deal. And if you can't live using that formula, then you have to rethink your plan.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, for me, the budget is not going to include my savings and which I'm saving for medical as well. So I'm saying if I had 1,000 for my budget, which I would have if I retired right now, I'd have more than that. But I would still go to the Philippines because I'm going to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. I did Dan's. I did Dan's mini survey at the Duncan. I was talking about it again, gearing up for today's live stream. The guys are well, one or two. They're sick of hearing it. Others participate in it, but basically they said, "Well, I'm not spending $1,000 a month here in Bye Bye City." That's what they said. I'm not spending $1,000 a month. I can't understand anybody who can't survive on less than $1,000 a month here in the Philippines, or $1,000 a month or less.
Well, you got to remember, some people want to. How shall I say this? They want to live a luxurious lifestyle.
That's the point. That's the point. You hit the nail on the head. They want to live a Western lifestyle, and they have this imagination that $1,000 is going to get them that in the Philippines, and it will not get you that here.
Well, I don't want the luxury lifestyle. I want a nice small apartment, and with you know how I am right now. When I go, I'll probably go by myself. So, one bedroom or a good sized studio, either one.
And then
You take a place like Steve's, unfurnished. If I could find a place like that for 100, 150, 200, I'll even go 200. But then you throw in your utilities. Let's say everything, utilities, the phone, and the internet. Let's say I'm spending $400 to $500 a month. Okay, that still leaves at $1,000 budget. That still leaves you 500.
Yeah, you see, Abby hits a home run on her comment, and the reason why Abby hits a home run is my next thing is because, see, we're like thinkers, Abby, and I know I don't think that you're going to disagree with me on this, Larry Lee, but the truth of the matter is the great equalizer is rent. That's the great equalizer. And my point was going to be, if you're a senior getting subsidized housing in the United States, I would have to seriously think about moving to the Philippines. Because if you're getting government subsidized housing, there's a good chance that you're going to be living better if you stay in the United States than if you come over to the Philippines. And that is because, and Abby knows this, rents are going crazy here. They're going absolutely nuts. Inflation, the reported inflation rate is 8%, but I could tell you that they have understated, just like in the United States, they have understated that rate of inflation. It's more like, it's closer to what Calvin is saying, which is 30%. I'm living here. I'm spending the money. I know.
Well, I believe you. I mean, things are. I got to take one of these out. Makes me sound weird to myself. Things cost a lot more than what they did just a year ago, and so I'm sure it's gone up everywhere quite a bit. And so it's like, but the thing is, man, I want out of the cold. So it's either Panama, South America, or the Philippines.
Well, I would say this. Spend spring, summer in the United States, and winter in the Philippines. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I don't know if I want to go back and forth, because then you're spending a lot of money just going back and forth and having.
That's true. That is true. Very true.
Now, I could probably stay with my sisters, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to do that. My two sisters.
No, I feel like I would be maintaining my house. I would be maintaining my. So my budget would have to include maintaining the apartment rent in both places. As a matter of fact, Minnie and I, I think we are closer to making the decision to be doing that. We know we want to venture out and have an apartment somewhere else. And so I think that is going to actually materialize.
Well, like I said, if you can afford it, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're talking about keeping a place in the States, and I've told you what I've done, so I'm not a rich man.
I wouldn't want to do it. You see, I wouldn't want to maintain it unless unless that place were being subsidized, and then they probably wouldn't allow that to go on for very long. They would say, "Hey,
Yeah,
you're only using it. Yeah, you're only using it half time." You know, and we
no,
got a guy.
I probably couldn't go 6 months. It'd probably have to be like 3 or 4 months. But
Yeah.
that would get me out of the worst of the winter.
Right. Right. Well, you know what? That's an option, you know. That I know it doesn't sound very appealing because you have to pay for going back and forth, but
Yeah.
after a while, them frequent flyer miles would build up and you get yourself a little discount on that transportation.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, let's be honest about it. If I was to stay
Oh,
here, I'd have to go for some financial, as you know, either that or keep
Abby,
working. I mean,
Abby keeps
I,
hitting home run after home run after home run. If you're renting here, you can't save. If you want to retire here, buy a bungalow, not a condominium unit. And I believe that. See, that's the other point.
well,
The point is if Minnie and I had not built this house here, right, and we had to rent, then we would end up becoming slaves to the landlord once again. What would be different than being a slave to the landlord here or being enslaved by a landlord in the United States? You see, that's the thing.
the amount of money I got to pay.
The amount of money is going up. You see, it's going up like
Yeah,
crazy.
but what's there is still never going to reach what's here.
Well, you know, that's all a matter of opinion. And here's the thing: you'll
I'm,
find out
I'm,
when you get here.
I'm
You're going to
saying,
find out. Tim already said that he spends less than $1,000 per month. But how long will that? Do you think that'll last, Tim? Tim was kind of validating the point, saying that city water is 40% more now than it was 2 years ago,
well, like I
and
said,
rent's going up.
But yeah, but I mean, rent. Like I said, I've seen the apartments that these people can rent. I've watched a lot of videos, and for what they can rent for what I'm paying, they got a hell of a lot nicer place than what I got. All right, and some of these are furnished, and they're still a hell of a lot nicer than what I have. Now I can afford to rent. If I have all my bills paid off, I can afford my rent. I can afford to live here. Now I wouldn't be able to do a whole lot, but I can afford to live here. I can still afford to have my car. Uh, but you know, I'm not going to travel the world. I'd have to make short trips, like up to see the family or back to, because I got a sister here in New York too. She lives up around Rochester, so I could make a short trip up there. I could go back to Indiana and see my family there, and maybe every couple of months or so take a nicer trip where I stay in hotels. But like I
Abby's
said, I
also
still got.
saying Abby's also saying you could buy a farm here, $1,000 a month. You can have your own business. That's true. That's true.
But I can't. You got to remember, Dan. I can't own land. I'm not a Filipino. I can
You got to
own.
get yourself one.
If I get a Filipino, I might as well move there. Come on. But yeah,
Daisy Lynn is in the house. Daisy Lynn, beautiful voice.
Like I said, I could definitely own a condo if I wanted, or I could even buy a bungalow and put it, as long as I get a contract drawn up that I could have it on somebody else's property, and I can leave it there, and I can have access to it.
Yeah, I think that I
You
would
have
not
to
be
have a
afraid.
legal contract drawn up.
Yeah, I would not be afraid of renting land long term and then building a soft material home on it. You know,
Yeah, that's
I
what I
wouldn't
said.
spend too much. I wouldn't spend too much on it. 12,
Hey,
15K maybe. You know,
you ever watch Rod with Amazing Philippines?
not in a while.
All right. Well, this has been a while back. He did a video. He was out walking. I can't remember where he was at, whether it was in Cebu or somewhere else. I think it was somewhere else actually. But anyway, he was out walking. And he came across this place that made container homes.
Yeah, yeah, I saw
And
it.
all right, that would be something that you could
I
buy and
have,
have put it
matter
on
of
the
fact,
property.
I have the name of the company in my index box. I actually visited a factory, and I have the
But
index card. I have the business card. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he showed some of the
It's not
different.
practical, but it's not practical, but it's fun to think about.
Oh no! For me, that would be something. They also have it now where you get these prefab homes you can buy from
Yeah,
like
see,
China. That,
I would go more for the prefab homes that come
but
out
I'm
of
just saying
China.
there's a couple of options. But like I said, I can't own land, so I'd have to have a contract drawn up where I'm renting that land, guaranteed total access to it for so many years, more years than I would expect to live. Right? That's what you want.
That's certainly a creative option that I would consider myself.
Like I said,
So
that's what something. That's how I would have to go if I want to buy my own place without marrying a Filipino. Because I'm not married
so
to a
I don't
Filipino.
know.
It'd have to be a Filipino.
Again, I don't know. I don't know. Of course, Steve said, well, I know I'm going to
Hey,
get
Joaquin.
pushback. I know I'm going to
Joaquin.
get pushback on this. But okay, so Steve, if you're listening, Steve, if you're watching at Philippine Information Channel, um, can you do another $60 rent video? I'm kind of interested in that.
Well,
If you're still able to find an apartment for 60
well,
bucks,
what he was been finding here recently has been more like around 100,
yeah, yeah.
and those are new ones, unfurnished. And like I said, that's what I would want, something unfurnished, because that
Hey,
saves you.
former neighbor, Callie King 916 is in the house. Hi, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. What you up to?
Uh,
Hey, Larry, can you share the rest of your thoughts? And I have to run out and grab a quick cup of coffee.
okay, I'll do that. Not a problem.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, like I was saying, for me, if I was going to move over there, and right now I'm single, I'm running around with a girl, but I'll be honest with you, I don't see that going anywhere but what we're doing, and that's fine right now. I enjoy it. But if I go to the Philippines, I'll be going by myself, and I'm going to have to look at some place for me to live. And as a single American, I can't own land. I would have to either buy a condo or, like I said, find somebody to be willing to rent me the land for. Well, I'm going to be 70 this year, so let's say 30 years at least, because I want to be beyond what I expect to live, and then I could put something up on it that would be doable, but and would save me some money compared to renting or I could just find a cheap place to rent. I'm not the kind of person who wants to go to the bars. I did the bar things back in my teens when I was in the Navy, the 20s, my 30s, and even up into my 40s. I'm done with the bar scene. I have nothing against drinking, and just going to the bar and getting hammered and spending all my money is not what I want to do.
Hey, Larry,
I
you just scripted. It's like you're reading my script.
well, like I said, I flipped your script. You're doing it now. I did it earlier.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm loving it because
that belly wasn't cheap. Let me tell you.
so listen. The whole Steve thing bugs me way more than he bugs me the most. He
Who's
bugs me
that?
the most with the whole idea, right? But listen, we're most of us aren't where Steve is. We're not in the spot that Steve is in.
Oh yeah.
Would people be coming to the Philippines? Would old men like me be coming to the Philippines if we had a bucket full of money? I don't think so, Steve. I don't think
Like I said,
so.
I think there are some, and I'm going to be. I hate to say this, but a lot of them are looking for a younger woman, and I mean by 20, 30 years younger. A
Yes.
lot of, but I'm saying the ones that are coming there with a buttload of money and single, they're looking to run around and have a good time. Now, some of them may be looking to get married, but they're looking for someone younger, which is good. And let's be honest about it. The older we get, the less likely we're going to meet somebody here in the States. That's going to be somebody that we're attracted to. And I'm talking about even my own age group. My friend that I run around with quite attractive, but we've known each other for so long, it's going to be nothing but what it is. It's not a sexual relationship, but we are very compatible. And it's the kind of relationship I need for right now. I'm not, just like I said, though, when I go, if I move to the Philippines, because it is an if with my mom still being alive, I don't know what kind of health I'm going to be in when she passes away. And I'm not going till after she passes. She's 97 now. She turned 97 last month. But so if my health isn't really decent, I'm not going. I don't care about the diabetes. You got to handle that no matter where you live. I'm talking about if I can't get around and do things, then I might as well stay here. But also, I'm not the one that wants to go out to the bar. I'm not the one that wants to go, well, let's go hiking up the mountain. That's not
Well,
me.
let's spend a moment about the bar thing, just if you wouldn't mind.
No problem.
All
I
right.
have nothing against drinking.
Yeah.
The bar is
No,
not
no,
my thing.
I know that. I know that about you. And so obviously I have nothing against drinking. Hey,
I'm going to be honest with you, Dan. I haven't had a drink in 3 or 4 years.
good for you.
About 3 years.
But-
I don't drink by myself. I live by myself,
Here-
but I don't drink and drive.
Here's the whole thing about that. I need to segue into the next YouTube channel that I wanted to critique, right? And you did it perfectly for me, as though you're looking at my script. So here's the thing. Tim K's channel. So, folks, when you're looking at Tim K, what you're looking at is you're looking at a 40-plus-year-old man. He cannot speak for me. He doesn't speak for me. In other words,
No, you can't.
yeah. In other words, I find it a little bit difficult to relate to Tim K sometimes because he's a 40-some-year-old man. And so what's going to appeal if you're watching, the appeal of Tim K is the fantasy. It's not the reality. It's the fantasy. That he's a young man living in the Philippines, obviously retired some kind of way in his early to mid 40s, and he's living life's dream the way that some of us want to live it. But here's the thing. He made a comment the other day, right, that just bugged the hell out of me, where he was saying, take care of your health. And then he connected it. He said, in the same sentence, take care of your health. And then he started to tell us what he meant. He says, I'm talking about the drinking of beer. There are a lot of expats here, and I see them gathering around and throwing back 40s. Listen, I kind of started cracking up, when I heard him say that. Because the thing about this is that there's a big difference in your perception of life. And this is where I'm going with this. As a 45-year-old man versus a 65-year-old man, you find you get enjoyment of life in different ways. Now, he wasn't being mean about this. He was actually trying to be helpful. He was saying, take care of your health. And then he grabbed the wrong example in order to support his argument. See, because he was saying, yeah, most of the expats here, or I think he was implying this anyway, they're all hanging out at so-and-so and they're throwing back 40 ounces, they're throwing back San Miguel painted labels. But the truth of the matter is, how would you be able to tell if those are leisure participants in the where they just get together once in a while for beers, or whether they're alcoholics, whether all expats are alcoholics? See, that's the point. The point is he used the wrong argument in order to support it, because for every website that there is out there, for every argument that a person can post that says alcohol is bad for your health, I will show you the opposing information that beer drinking has a positive effect on a person's life and longevity once they pass a certain age, and a detrimental effect on one person's health when they are in their youth. So I could show you a recent study that shows there are benefits to drinking beer and other alcoholic beverages once you surpass health benefits. We're talking about once you surpass a certain age. That's not justifying people becoming alcoholics. Don't misunderstand me. That is not me greenlighting you saying it's okay to be a drunk. That is not what I'm saying. So
No,
Tim
it's okay
K,
to have a drink or two once in a while. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You went sideways, bro, and I like you. Tim K, you went sideways on that argument. That's not the way, that wasn't the supporting argument. All you had to say was take care of your health, and then you didn't have to toss in the alcohol thing. It messed you up.
He could have tossed it in by saying don't overindulge.
Exactly.
Clarify it, clarify
Exactly. You know.
it.
And so
I used to
listen,
overindulge quite a bit.
I think that he's kind of excited because he has abstained from the grape.
Well,
Look,
I abstain from the grape too. I don't drink wine. I drink either beer.
I crack myself up. Listen, he abstained from the grape. He wants to share it with the world. He wants to share what step he's on. I'm not sure.
I'm an ex-smoker. Okay.
Yeah.
I smoked cigarettes for about a pack a day or more, average for over 27 years. Now this March will be 24 since I quit. So I still smoke longer than I've quit. Now, there's a lot of people once they quit become really strong anti-smoking, and they really start pounding the table about it. Now I'm anti-smoking, but if you want to smoke, that's fine. You just don't smoke in my house, don't smoke in my car. If I'm riding with you and you smoke, well, that's your car, and that'll be probably the last time I ride with you. But it took me a couple of years after I quit smoking before it even bothered me.
That's an excellent argument. That would have been the argument I would have used. That would have been the argument that I would have used. Tim says, I don't watch Tim K channel. I think 99% of his problems are self-induced. I don't look at him as a man with problems. I look at Tim K as a man who's living the dream. And so it's hard to look behind the scenes to see what's going on in a person's life unless they're actually presenting them to you, And so, I have a YouTube channel. Larry has most of us have a YouTube channel. We present life the way that we see it, but people can't really see what's going on behind the scenes. They can't see the fight that I had with, the relative, the family member. They can't see how I'm an obnoxious person to live with. They can't see, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they can't see, the compliments that come my way, they would make me think that people think that I'm this caring, loving, sensitive guy, right? But I'm not. So there you have it. But I'm not anywhere near that. I'm just a regular guy, a regular human being.
Well, they can't see how difficult I am to live with because I live by myself.
The only person you could ever get angry with is yourself, and that's not so complicated,
Hey, when I get mad at myself, I really messed up.
Yeah, well, you see, the whole thing is I don't think that I could live with myself by myself.
I actually enjoy it. I enjoyed when I was living with my last girlfriend, actual girlfriend. We lived together for a while. I enjoyed that too. But I don't mind living by myself because when I get home, I get home. If I want to buy something to eat, I buy it. If I want to cook it, I cook it. And like I said, the last girlfriend I was living with, I was still drinking some, but I wasn't going to the bars anymore. I'd actually quit going to the bars. The only time I would drink is if I'm going to be staying where I was at, or I could walk back from where I was drinking to my place or wherever I was staying at. I still only do that. I either stay where I'm drinking.
Here's the other side of it, Larry. Too, you're reminding me of something else. You're reminding me of the social aspect of drinking. All that stuff we studied in school. But here's the thing. When you reach a certain age, a retirement age of 65, let's use that as an example. Does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, that's one of the points I wanted to make that you reminded me of. How much does it matter? If you're not interfering with anyone else's right to live their life the way they choose to live it. Why would you go and tell some expat you need to stop drinking because it could be detrimental to your health? And here I am, 80 years old. I have a nurse pushing me around in a wheelchair. Yes, you're right. It's going to take years off my life. And drinking will stunt my growth.
And the good thing is, it's going to take years off my life if I'm in a wheelchair.
But smoking has a more detrimental effect on one's health, I would say, at any age. But once you reach that, once you're retired, you're getting that check and you got all the bills paid and you have a lovely Filipina by your side for companionship. In your case, a friend. Then that you don't sleep with.
And she makes more money than I do.
Yeah, then you got it made. That's what I'm saying. Then you got it made. So I'm not going up to somebody and saying, "Gee, you should cut back on the drinking a little bit." No, that's not my view on life at all. My view on life, when you reach this age of 65, is live life the way that you choose to live it because you are living the life. And so I'm not going to go to you. I've never gone to somebody and said, "Hey, you drink alcohol to excess." What I have done is said this: you should save that until you retire. You see, that's the way you say it. You should save that until you retire. And so now you've heard me say on this channel that I haven't drunk before in a long time, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to start now. And then now is the time. You see, that's what. So, do I drink beer to excess? No, I've never been known to do that. No matter what age I am.
Like I said, I don't really enjoy drinking by myself. I live by myself, so there's no booze in my house. My friend doesn't drink, so there's no sense having it here. I have had a drink when I've been with her, but we were staying where we were at. We were celebrating our birthdays. Mine's the 16th of the month, and hers is the 17th, right after, And she'll drink like a half a beer, and she's done.
Yeah. Minnie doesn't drink to excess either. That's why we're so compatible in the bar scene. So when we were out in Thailand, we hit a lot of bars in the adult section of town. But the adult section of town, folks, people are laughing when I say that, right? Some people might call it the entertainment district. Some people might call it the red light district. Well, sociologist Dan, people watching's my thing, and so you're going to see me out there. Somebody had asked me one time, "What, you hang out in those places?" I said, "Hell yes, I do. I'd be living in those places if I could." Tim sums it up. Tim, you take the words right out of my mouth once again. Good thing I don't have a clone. I couldn't handle living with a jerk like me.
I could. He'd be in the other room doing the same damn thing. We'd just be in different rooms all the time. We couldn't hang out together.
And Jerry says, I'd rather hang out with a smoker over someone who vapes. But truth be told, Jerry, I wouldn't go to somebody and tell them to quit smoking either. That's bad for your health. I would not say it. You wouldn't hear me saying it. And nor would I make a big deal out of hanging around someone who smokes. Yes, Dan, secondhand smoke is bad for your health. Yeah. It's going to shorten my life.
Well, you talking about hanging out with somebody that smoked. One of my
Yeah.
best friends up in Rochester area. He's a smoker. His wife's not. They have two sons. He never smokes in the house. Even during the dead of winter, if he wants a cigarette, he goes out of the house to have the cigarette. He won't smoke in front. The kids know he smoked, but he's not going to smoke in the house with the kids, or he's not going to smoke in the vehicle with the kids in there. So I respect him for that. And but yeah, when I was over there, and there was times I was over there having a beer, his wife would take me home, and because like I said, if I was going to drink, they knew it. They'd come pick me up, and we'd drink to whatever I had to drink, and then she'd take me home. But even then, I didn't usually get drunk. But I won't have a drink and get behind the wheel of a car. I got in trouble for it once, and I swore to God it'll never happen again. And so now, if I have my car, I'm not drinking. Period. I don't care.
Oh no, that's the way I am. There's no way there's no way. If there's even a possibility, it won't happen. I won't be drinking. But I hang around with a great group of guys. They're social drinkers, and one or two beers, and it's time to hit the road. It's time to get home. And so I've never had, that I could recall, I've never had any kind of incident occur where where it resulted in destroying of a friendship or something like that. I've never been in that situation before.
I always liked going partying with my older brother when he was still living. Now he died in his mid-30s, but my older brother didn't drink. But he'd go to the bars, he'd go to the house, party with you, and so you could go there, get as drunk as you want, and he'd drive you home. But because he enjoyed the party, he just didn't drink. So you had a designated driver with you all the time. And it was the same way when we were on ship together. If I wanted to go out and get hammered and he wanted to go, come on, he had the car. He'd take me and take me home.
Oh, by the way, in case you guys don't know, Jerry had brought up vaping, and I just want to point out that in Thailand, that's like considered to be it's illegal. You'll end up paying a fine if an officer decides to challenge you because you're vaping in public. So, Thailand is such an interesting place from that perspective. The weird laws, they're not weird. They all have a reason for them existing. But I would say that if you're planning on traveling or anywhere around the world, you have to make sure that you know what the local laws are, where you can chew gum, where you can and cannot spit, where you can smoke, what you can smoke. And
if you could take cigarettes into the countries.
That's right. They could actually refuse you entry into the country if they catch you with a vape pipe. A vaping kit.
Well, so I think Thailand also limits how many cigarettes, packs of cigarettes you can bring in.
But here's the other thing that's weird, that's interesting about Thailand, right? You can drink a beer while walking down the street or any alcoholic beverage, but you cannot be drunk in public. Nor can you drink and drive. But you can go right up to a 7-Eleven, buy a beer, and crack it open when you hit the door, and nobody is going to say a word. It's just like drinking a soda.
Yeah.
That's strange.
But hey, if you buy a 6-pack and you only drink one to get home, you're not drunk. Stay in the house for the rest of them.
Oh, well, I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but okay.
I remember one time when I was out in San Diego in the Navy, we had bought I want to say it was a 12-pack. Might not even been that much. Might have been a 6, but there was like 3 or 4 of us. And I want to say it was a 12-pack, and we were switching the bags around. Now, we weren't 21. We had one guy with us that was 21. The cop saw us passing the bag around. And like I said, we weren't reaching in it. We were just carrying it. And he stopped us and saw that was alcohol in there. He asked us what we were doing. We told him where we were going. We were going to a friend's apartment. He said something about the booze. And I said, look, there's not enough in there to get me drunk well on all of us. I said, we're all, we're in the Navy. We're here. You know, what do you want us to do? I mean, we don't have family here, so and we got to talking. So the guy says, well, go ahead and take it to the apartment. And he says, but if I see you on the streets drunk later on, he says, I'm going to bust you guys. Like I said, there wasn't enough there to get any of us drunk, but there was enough to have a taste, So, but there was one guy trying to say, oh, it was mine. They were helping me carry it because he was 21. I said, no, it was ours. He just happened to be walking with us. He's just trying to keep us out of the trouble. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's, this is what's going on. And so he let us go.
Of course, back when the Navy had a lot of personnel in San Diego, they were walking a very, they like the money that it brings into the local economy. So everybody was fairly tolerant, everybody's fairly tolerant.
Well, this is back before MAD too. You got to remember now, I'm an older guy. MAD didn't come about till the 80s, and I was in the Navy in the 70s. But I remember when the Navy had a base there in Long Beach, not just Seal Beach, but Long Beach had a base. And I was there when they had the base. And that place, Long Beach, was hopping. I mean, it was hopping. And the city decided it was large enough. They didn't want the Navy there, so the Navy left. And I went back the next time. I was there twice. The next time I went back, the base had closed down. And they had all kinds of businesses shut down. And San Diego, after all this happened, decided, well, one of the news stations says, are we a Navy town? And so because of what happened with Long Beach. And San Diego is bigger than Long Beach. And the lady went out and said, well, we have this many sailors stationed here. Now you have their families here. And they employ this many, people that actually work for them, that this is their livelihood. It was something like 750,000 people total. They said if they just spend $1 a day, you know how much money that is? Yeah, we're a Navy town. that was a quick assumption because
Hey, so speaking of military, hey, I'm kind of excited. I kind of knew this was going to happen. I talked about it on other live streams, Larry, and that was that now that the military's coming in here. They're coming in here. Hey, don't kid yourselves. The U.S. is coming in here full strength, and I have friends. They're starting to tell me that they're seeing ads in surrounding some of those base areas where they're starting to advertise for all kind of personnel, that they're going to be hiring Filipinas to work and do some of the work on those bases. And I'm really, really excited for the Philippine economy because I see an extremely bright future for the Philippines moving forward.
When I was there in the Philippines, while I was in the Navy, a whole lot of Filipinos and Filipinas worked on base. And there was jobs connected to that as well. And I'm not just talking about the red light district, because that was there as well. But you had the people working in the post. You had them working in the exchanges. You had them working in the bar on base. And now, my understanding, and Steve talked about this on his channel, the Philippines are still going to own the bases. The U.S. won't own the bases, which is a good thing. It really is. But now, are they going to be allowed to have Navy exchanges, or military exchanges, PXs in the Army, Navy exchanges in the Navy?
They are. They're full up, including they're building hospitals, they're building clinics, they're building gyms, they're building fast food places. Oh, check this out. Check this out, man. This is exciting. So the rumor of this week is that McDonald's has bought a lot down next to the tire shop around the corner from the Metro Mart, and they're going to build their first McDonald's, not in the mall that they're building. But now what's exciting to me, is that that's probably the first McDonald's in this area, but McDonald's tends to build in clusters. They tend to build They don't just build one unit in a region or an area. They build several. And so the reason why I'm excited is I could totally picture them building one there, one inside the mall, and a couple more in the outlying areas.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, the Long Beach I'm talking about is in California. They got another place right close to it called Seal Beach. That's still open.
Yeah.
At least it was the last I heard. And that was the ammunition depot for the military, for the Navy especially. We'd pull in, when I was in Long Beach, we pulled into Seal Beach to take on ammunition. Then we'd go to Long Beach to party because Seal Beach wasn't much there. And like I said, I was there twice and did that both times. But so, yeah. But like I said, when I was in the Philippines, they had in Subic Bay. Oh God, we had a golf course. We had a livery stable for horses and trails that you could go riding on. Well, all this, almost all of it was the workers were Filipinos or Filipinas. Now the people in charge, I think, were military people. But the ones that actually did the work were all Filipinos and Filipinas.
Hey, I have a question for you. Changing the subject a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but I'll tell you what. Let me make a statement, a final thought on that, and that is that I think that when I viewed other YouTube channels, right, most Filipinos and Filipinas, they are favorable to the United States returning back to the Philippines.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they're going to have a much more control over what goes on, and they should. It's their country. But another thing they had on the base, it will happen again on base with the Americans there. The taxi drivers, there'll be a lot more of them.
Right. People will be making money. People will be making money.
And some of these taxis never even left the base. Because the base, Subic Bay was so big, you get off your ship, you take that taxi into the where the bars and these golf course and all, and they drop you off, pick somebody else up, and
the beautiful thing, the beautiful thing about this, the military personnel moving in there, right, is that most of those areas where the bases are that they're going to be moving into, they already have economic development, and the beautiful thing is those service personnel are just going to be plugging in to an already growing economy, and I think that's so. There's already a mall, there's already shopping centers, there are already apartments available that have amenities, those types of things.
Well, in Subic, I'm trying to think. It was a property club or something like that was the name of the YouTube channel.
Bruce Official.
Hey, Aileen, how you doing? But anyway, there was this. Pacal, how you doing? But anyway, there was this property club guy. He had places in the Philippines and in Thailand. He was married to a Filipina, and they went on base, the old base in Subic, and some of those housing was been turned into our apartment complexes. Some of it was still down. There was some of the old officer housing was had been renovated, and people either bought them or was renting them, and so. Like the rent would be like for 50 years, you get a guarantee. You got like 25, then you can extend it for another 25 or something like that. So,
but hey, here's something though. I've talked about it, and I think you know this. Dan Quayle's company, right? They went in, they bought the shipyard in Subic, and they already, from what I understand, they already have secured a military contract with the U.S. Yes. There are no coincidences, my friend.
Oh no!
As soon as Dan Quayle's company went in there and they purchased that.
Now, is that the same Dan?
Military was coming back.
Is that the same Dan Quayle that ran for vice president?
Yeah, Vice President Dan Quayle.
You know where he's from, don't you?
No.
Indiana.
Oh yeah, that now I remember.
They
He's the one
gave him a
that
hard,
misspelled, he's the one that misspelled potato, right?
but he didn't.
He didn't?
When he was growing up, that's the way you spelled it.
Oh.
They changed the spelling later
Oh, why didn't they say that in the press?
because
Why didn't
they wanted to bust him.
They
He was
wanted to make fun of him. Oh, you know what? I think you're right about that. I
I
recall
know,
something about that. They took the
my-
E off the end.
No, the A. I think
Potato
it was
is
A.
not toe, not like a toe on a potato.
Yeah. But see, my oldest sister is 10 years older than me, so that puts her around Dan Quayle's age. But she was also a school teacher. That's what my sister was. She was a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to teach spelling and all that. So
Abby says
He's the one that
Subic is
told-
a good place, Larry.
well, it was. Subic was a good place.
Still is, yeah.
They had a great public beach there. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a public beach that you could go to. And then they had a beach on base that we'd go to. Matter of fact, it was the public beach. I don't know. Did I ever tell you I had a missing ship movement against me?
You got a what?
A missing ship movement. That means my ship left without me. And I didn't have permission for it to leave.
Oh no! Don't you get into big trouble for that?
No, you're supposed to, but no. See, what happened was, we're like I said, we're in Civic. It's a Sunday, I believe it was.
So,
Hey, how you doing,
that
Leonard?
leaves You, huh?
But anyway, I'm leaving.
Hey, Larry.
I'm leaving the ship, and we were told when we left the ship, you have 24 hours if you get the word to come back to the ship.
Event, thing, and phrase.
You know, once the word says return to the ship.
What's it? Hey,
I would have said that.
what are you listening to? What are you
Leonard,
listening
you
to?
got background
Leonard?
noise.
Yeah, give me a second.
But anyway, when we left the ship, it was only going to be maybe 16 hours. We had to be back anyway. So when we got the word, which was maybe 12 hours, we had to be back in now. To return the ship, we thought, we're not going back. We got 12
Chevy
hours.
Silverado factory.
And we'll be back, and it's going to be, we were told 24. We got to be back in 12 to be on time for work. So we stayed off base. And so I come in the next morning, and like I said, I got a cab on base and went to the pier I was at. And I walk up, and there's this tin can sitting there. Tin can is a destroyer. My ship was a destroyer tender. It's about twice the size of a destroyer. So I looked at that ship, and I said, my ship shrunk. And the guys on deck just started laughing. So I go on board the ship, get permission to go on board. And I said, can you make sure I'm in your log that I'm here on time for when I'm supposed to be back? Then I asked, where do I go report at? And so I'm going back off. Another guy's coming up to, he's just getting back. So I get in his cab and we go to where we got a report. And there's like 200 of us. I'm on a ship with about 1,000 people. There's over 200 of us didn't make it back in time for ship movement.
Hey, Mabel Torres is here. Thanks for tagging me
Mabel.
on Facebook. Appreciate
Hey,
that.
Mabel.
So anyway, I ended up going in front of the XO, and the XO, says, what happened? And I told him, and he says, dismissed. No trouble whatsoever. But like I said, there was over 200 of us. What are they going to do? Lock us all up? So I don't think anybody got in any real trouble. We just had to go in front of the XO. Say, hey, look, when we left, we were told 24 hours. When I got to word, I was back within 12. I followed the rules when I left. I mean, if you changed it after I'm gone, I can't help that.
Leonard, you've been listening in the background, right? What do you have to say about some of the crap that I've been spewing today?
Well, actually, I wasn't listening all the time. I was just unmuted and closed my camera so I could eat my dinner. So I missed part of that, but
Oh, okay. I'm lucky.
maybe.
I can walk away from the and still hear because I got these wireless.
Yeah, I got to get a wireless
Headphones.
headset.
Well, they're not real expensive. I even got the plate. You just set them on top of the plate in the little case, and it charges it. You don't have to plug them in.
Oh, that's nice.
It's got a charging
What-
plate.
Yeah, what kind are they?
Shoot, I don't remember. See,
Dang. Well, man, we have been going for
Tozo.
almost a couple hours.
I think it's
Yeah,
spelled
which-
Tozo. Tozo.
Let's.
I got
You know, can we change over to pizza?
I had that Tuesday.
Did you? Because I got to tell you, we got a pizza problem here in the Philippines.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, we got a pizza problem. I'm not sure that Dan can fix it, you know. But
I don't know.
I don't know, because I'm telling you, I've gone to the chain restaurants to try and get a pizza, like the Pizza Hut, the Green Witch, the Yellow Taxi, the Shakey's Pizza.
Yellow Cab.
Yeah, Yellow Cab. And the thing is, it tastes like they're using fake cheese.
Probably are.
Yeah, I've heard that it's hard to get good cheese over there.
So I don't know what to do. I'm beside myself. What do you think? I'd import my own cheese?
If
Maybe
you want
so.
to make your own, I would. Yeah. You
Or
may
go-
be able to. In those big, what is it? Lazada, not Lazada. They're like BJ's or they're like Sam's Club.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the name of them right
Oh,
now.
S&R. S&R.
S&R,
Yeah.
where you pay a membership. Some
Yeah.
of those places may have the real cheese.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm going to
It's probably
absolutely.
cheaper than it. Like I
I'll
said,
tell
it's
ya.
probably cheaper than importing on your own.
I
Yeah.
have to do something about it, you know. And I'm sorry that Mac Daddy
Coys,
isn't
how you
here.
doing?
Yeah, he's your pizza guy.
Yeah, because if Mac Daddy were here, I'd get some advice from him about how to handle the cheese thing. I think he said, did he say they use Carabao cheese?
Probably not.
Or they make mozzarella out of Carabao cheese?
I thought he said that.
You know, that does
I mean,
sound right.
I'd have to go. I'd have to travel an hour by bus to find the nearest S&R.
No, Tim
I don't
says
think we
that-
have an S&R here in Bye Bye Leyte. Does anybody know? Mel, do we have an S&R here in Bye Bye Leyte? I think you have to go to Ormo for that.
Tim says
just give me
S&R
a
has good cheese.
Yeah,
Just
so I
let-
believe him.
Find
I believe
out
S&R
if they
does. Yeah.
find out if they do, because you know good and well if I come visit, I'm going to have to. If I stay any time at all, I'm going to have to stop by Bye Bye
Oh yeah.
just to give you a hard time.
So I told my brother-in-law I'm gonna follow the Mac Daddy's advice, and we're gonna go ahead and build our own pizza oven, our
Pizza
own
oven?
outdoor.
Which brother-in-law was that?
But he was saying, no, you need to hire a professional to do that. I said, no, I got YouTube. So all I have to do is find some YouTuber that shows you how to build the pizza oven, and I should be able to do it.
Yeah, you should
Yeah,
be able
yeah.
to.
Which brother-in-law? Which brother-in-law?
Not Mavs, Joe.
Gel?
Not
Okay.
Coach
Gel's the
Mavs,
one that-
Joe.
Yeah, Gel. I saw Gel a lot in your when you were doing the videos on.
Yeah. Let me
Hi, Melanie.
I'm jumping around a little bit, but let me ask you guys a question. So I've been getting putting the slice of pizza aside for a moment. I've been getting a lot of requests from single mom Filipinas. They want me to interview them and then put them up on the channel. Do you guys think I would be going sideways or going the wrong direction if I?
I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you something. You got to be careful with that
Yeah.
because I don't know what the rules are, but there are some rules about dating sites.
Right. Human
Yeah.
trafficking.
Yeah. Yeah, and matchmaking and stuff like that.
I know,
I
yeah,
know.
because Peace talked about that. If you know who the Filipino P is,
Yeah.
she's talked about that, and she tries to stay out of it because says she can get in trouble for doing that. So she'll
Mhm.
interview them, but she doesn't put up their contact information. So you can interview them,
CBS celebrates Black History Month.
and maybe drop a Facebook page or something. The guys can,
What
Well,
questions, if I were to go ahead and interview them, then what kind of questions would I be asking them?
Oh, one of the things is, how many kids do they have? What are they looking for?
Are the kids all the same father?
Wait, why would that be important?
Well, because if she's got 3 kids and 3 different fathers, that
That would be a red flag for you?
I would think so.
Well,
Yes.
it would be here in the States.
Huh.
Oh hell yeah.
Because apparently there are a lot of single moms out there that are looking for, they're looking for a mate. They're looking for.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
And I don't blame them. I mean, I want to tell you, I know that for a fact because of my Facebook page, Lazy Larry Lee.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, Larry, I meant to mention that to you, right? So the most friends requests that I get on Facebook are your girlfriends,
Yeah.
single
Me
ones,
too.
right?
Yeah.
They're all
me too.
single, right? And
As far as I know, they're all
Gentleman
single.
is here. Gentleman's here. And the thing about
gentlemen.
that is, as soon as I say so after they say hi to me, if I accept them, they'll say hi. They'll say, hello, nice to meet you. By the way, I'm married. And then I never hear from them again. I never hear from them again. It's not that I don't want to be friends with them. They just disappear.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Believe me, I know
Yeah.
because
Yep.
remember, I told you, I put down that I'm in a relationship to try to
Yeah.
cut back on that.
But they could see
No.
that in my profile that I'm married. So they're not looking at the profile.
No, they're not.
They're not looking at the
No,
profile. They're just-
obviously not.
yeah. Ladies, look at the profile first before you start moving in on that man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then check this out though. I don't know if this is good, bad, or what, but then when I tell them I'm married, they say, well, so am I. What does that have to do with the price of tea?
What's that got to do with the price of rice in the Philippines?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Well,
like
it
I
was
said,
nice knowing you. It's nice meeting you.
my thing is, and you guys know it, and for anybody here that doesn't know this, the reason why I'm not looking for a relationship is very simple. My mother's still living. She's 97 years old, and I'm not going anywhere that I can't be back to her side in one day. And I can drive from where I live and be in Terre Haute in 12 hours. So I'm not going to Mexico.
Oh,
I might go to Canada.
You're a good
Huh?
son. You're a good son.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not going anywhere till after she passes away. I don't know how long that's going to be. And I don't believe in long-term, long-distance relationships. Don't believe in them.
Yeah,
As a matter
Tim,
of fact,
speaking
I'm
of
not-
that, Tim is saying many Filipinos are getting friends on Facebook just for the numbers. They're trying to impress other people. Yeah, I understand that, Tim. I
Yeah.
understand that. But then when you go in there and you look, and there's no profile picture, there's no information, there's no post.
The ones I turn down almost automatically, they got very low numbers. And when they show friends, they're all males.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that tells me they're looking for a man, and I'm not it. I'm not looking for a relationship.
Well, and
Why
also,
why can't you just tell them that you want to be friends, but you're not looking for
I have told. I had one girl call me a scammer because I said I wasn't looking for somebody.
What? You don't look
Oh,
like
yeah.
a scammer to me.
that suggests to me that she's the scammer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
that
that's kind
suggests
of
to
what
me
it tells
too.
me. too. Stay
Yeah.
away from it. You know,
Yeah.
stay away from it.
And I'll tell you another thing. I'll have them tell me, "Can you send me money?" Never even talked before.
Oh,
The
they
first
do
thing
that. They do that all
they
the
write to
time.
me is, "Can you send me money? My brother or my father or my mother,
Well,
or I need load or whatever."
I'll tell you that.
And that tells you they're scammers.
I
Yeah.
haven't had anybody really approach me directly like that,
I have.
um,
I have.
saying that I need money.
So
But I mean,
I-
the thing is that
And it's not just been women. I've had men do it.
Yeah.
I have had a few attempts of people trying to call me, and I never answer the phone.
Oh no, I don't either. I
Yeah.
answered the phone once or twice a long time ago, and I said, "No, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, so I won't answer through Messenger. I won't answer any phone calls.
I had somebody send a text message after that and asked me why I didn't answer the phone. I said, "I don't answer the phone from anybody I've not met.
Yeah,
We've
if it's
not met.
important,
I'm not answering the phone, whether it's video or audio. I'm not answering.
yeah, send me a message. If you need something, send me a message. You know.
I have
That's
one say,
where I
"Well,
am.
why didn't you answer me? When I first sent you, you did it 2:00 in the morning my time. I was in bed asleep.
Yep.
Like
some-
Charmaine, I see Charmaine's thumbnail. She has a baby there. She has a child. I don't see a man
but
in the
like I said,
picture.
I don't mind dating. I've dated women with kids since I was 21. Now I'm
Yeah.
not saying every girl I dated had a kid, but I've been dating women with kids since I was 21, if not younger. So that doesn't bother me. What bothers
Right.
me is is when you're asking me for money and we've not met. What bothers me is if you try to hide the fact that you have a kid.
Oh,
if
I
find
see.
out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't mind a woman having a kid. If we get together, I would expect her kids to live with us. But if she lied to me and told me she doesn't have kids, we get together and all of a sudden she's got kids, that would bother me. That would probably
You'd be
end
like,
the relationship.
oh, where did these
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
come
that's
from?
enough for me to. That's enough for me to walk away.
That's what Tim says. Funny thing to do when they ask for money is say, "Glad you brought it up because you were about ready to ask them for money."
I've started
Oh,
doing.
that'll make them disappear really fast, Tim.
Yeah, I've started doing
like
that.
I said,
Well,
I've had
say-
women in the States, or at least they claim to be in the States,
Yeah,
talking about money. Or what do you do for a living? And that tells when they start asking you, what do you do for a living? That makes you wonder, are they trying to set up a relationship? Whether
Tell them
they're
you're a
in the States or
sailor.
somewhere else.
Tell
Well,
them
I
you're a
tell them I'm
sailor.
a security guard. I'm not going to lie about it. Because if they're looking for somebody with money, that tells them I don't have it and they're gone.
yeah, yeah. But I've had them say, "Can you give me load or whatever?"
Oh, yeah, I've
"Could
had
you
them
give
ask
me
for loan.
or could you give me $20?" And I
I've had
said,
them ask for that.
I need 300. Well, how can I give you 20?
Well, I had someone here recently, very recently, tell me they needed some money. Their brother was hurt, and any money I could give them would be a blessing. I've never talked to them. This is the first message I get from them. I'm not giving you any money. I don't know you. If I gave her money, she would want more later. And if other people found out, then everybody be asking me for money. He's a soft touch. Just
Yep.
tell him somebody's hurting your family. He'll give you some money.
It sounds to me like I have to do my research on this before I venture into something like that.
Yeah,
I have to do my research on whether I should be interviewing people or not.
Yeah, like I said, I think if
I
you
see
could
big
do it without
time
getting in
channels
trouble,
doing
it'd be
it,
great.
I see big time channels doing it. Big
Well, yeah,
time
but a lot of
channels.
times they're interviewing somebody for it's a smaller vlogger, and they're trying, they give out the vlogger's name.
Like Baby May, and
I don't. Yeah, but see, Baby May. Now, Baby May's also a Filipina.
yeah.
You gotta
Baby
remember,
May
they're
does it.
not.
Every woman has a
Well,
story,
the rules
does
may
it?
be different, but I know
Every
the
man has a
Filipino
story,
P said
does
she
it?
wouldn't do it because it can be construed as being a dating site, and she, you got to have certain things, and
Tim's
so
cracking me up. Tim's cracking me up. I've not been friended by any Nigerian princesses.
Oh, you're missing out, Tim.
yeah,
You
take
really
this
are.
out. I've had some Nigerians wanting to friend me, yes, but
I have to think about it, but because I kind of want to do it. I kind of
well,
want
like
to do
I
it.
said, there's got to be a way you can do it, but I don't know if you can put them in direct contact. Don't do that. Not
No,
till you know
don't
the
do that.
rules.
Don't
You
do
know?
anything that would could be construed as matchmaking or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, not
right.
without finding
But as
out what
far
the
as-
rules are.
Yeah. But as far as interviewing them, I think you'd be okay interviewing them. And, just asking them, do they work? What do they do for a living? How many kids they have?
Yeah, because I did watch the video that Filipina P did with Gracie, the attorney in Dumaguete.
Yeah.
I did watch it. I did.
Yeah.
I did watch it, and it did catch my attention. Believe me.
Yeah.
But
So
Gracie's, I like Gracie. She's funny.
I think it's your intent. You can't interview someone with the intent of where you're in the middle and you're, where you're actually in the middle trying to make the arrangement, with somebody. So, well, yeah, most Filipinos are not like them. I would imagine. Yeah. Yeah, Mabel, I think you make a good point. I would say
Very
that.
good point.
Yeah, I would say that most Filipinos are not like, are not like that. Yeah. To be more accurate.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. Most of them just want to say hi,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mind that. It just, like I said.
Hey, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but I have met Anna Mae, and Anna Mae is a wonderful person. Fantastic person, fantastic human being. I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to meet.
Yeah.
That's
But
nice.
like I said, most of the Filipinas and the Filipinos that I've known when I was in the service, and the Filipinos I've talked with through the internet and stuff, I have great respect for. I don't believe they're trying to scam you. Most of the ones that try to contact me, most, not all, most are looking for a relationship. Which
Yep.
I understand. I mean, especially the older women, I understand. They're looking for a relationship. They're not trying to scam me. They're, I'm not looking for a relationship. If I knew I was going, let's say I knew I was going to be in the Philippines in 6 months, I might talk to a couple of women. I wouldn't have a relationship saying, "Oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend," but I might talk to a couple, see how well we get along talking. But if it's like I said, with the situation I'm in, when I have no clue when I'm going to get there, no, I'm not doing it. It's not fair to her because she's going to hang her hopes on that I'm going to come and we're going to get together. And I have no clue when it's going to be 6 months, a year, 6 years. I have no clue. Because like I said, I'm not going anywhere until my mother passes away. And I hate to say this, people. I hope it's a long time. Now, my mother doesn't want to live to be 100. So she's hoping it's less than 3 years.
Okay, Jonalyn, you're covered on the. I got you a jacket, Jonalyn. Thank you. Let's see. Uncle Dan, one of my generous sponsors. I'm asking for sponsorship, but then it's not for me. It's for my viewers of my channel so that I can help, because they help my channel too. Well, that's one of the beautiful things about YouTube. Is that it's more like a community. It's more like a family.
Yeah. Now, asking for a sponsorship of. I have sponsored something or helped sponsor something, Mabel. I'm not against that, but when you're calling up or you're writing me and asking me for money for you because you know, and I've not met you, I've not followed you on YouTube. This is what I'm talking about. These people, it's like.
Kate, why are you hiding behind that mask?
Hey, Kate.
Do you know who Kate is?
Nope.
No?
Don't know Kate, but that's all right.
Larice is on my radar for one of the next people that I want to make. Mabel Torres and Larice.
Hi, Kate. How are you doing?
I wonder if we could do that in one trip.
No reason why you couldn't.
I'll bet you I could see Mabel and Larice on the next trip to Manila.
Well, like I said,
That's my goal.
people I've talked to are I follow like Mabel. There's a couple others, Daisy and Melanie. I'm willing to help somebody do something if I got the money. Y'all know I'm a poor guy, but I could throw $5 at something once in a while, which I have. But it's to somebody I know by following their channel.
Right. And
I know what they're going to use the money for.
Right.
But somebody I've never met, never followed them, that's a whole different ball game.
I heard a ring where you were out with 40 squad.
So,
I didn't expect to find you.
and that's what I'm talking about. I've had them call and say, one girl
Take better care of yourself.
wanted me to give her my phone number
So that at least it could afford you some
because she
time.
needed a phone number to get her load or something.
Whoa, damn.
And it's like, no, I'm not giving you my number.
How many times in the past 3
Because you get my phone number, who knows? You might make a bunch of long distance phone calls.
And every time you say, avoid
No, I don't know. I've never met this lady,
That must have been a traumatic
And like I said,
experience.
I've had guys that write to me and ask for stuff. I've had people in the States do the same thing.
It's gotta bring
And,
up
talking about spotting scammers, it's pretty easy sometimes to spot the American scammers.
Yeah.
Because they'll have on there interested in sex, not, or they'll have these really sexy photos, and that's all they put up. So they're trying to appeal to the, you know what I'm
We
saying?
have to get you some.
Trying
We'll have to
that
get you
sex
some.
appeal. And they're
Dramamine.
a sugar daddy or maybe a bunch of sugar daddies. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to be that. And it's really sad because, like I said, I know I probably not friended some people that might not have been that way, especially here in the States,
It's about me getting.
because of the fear of the ones that are that way here in the States.
I show what you do.
And
Now you
but that's the way it is, I gotta look at say, well, what's the odds? Well, they're extremely good looking and put up some provocative pictures. The odds are they're scammers.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're trying to scam you out of money or just trying to get you to, I'll send you these nice pictures and you give me some money.
Have you ever thought
Oh,
It may
yeah.
not be a real typical scam, but they're out to separate you from your money any way they can.
That's becoming a pretty typical one.
I lost
That's
I got-
that's
I got
money.
messaged. I got messaged by one, and I opened up. It was actually a video call. And I opened the video call up, and she was standing there with no clothes on.
I got
I
a
had
picture
never-
sent of the certain lady part that was first time the woman ever contacted me.
This
So
was
we're
the
not
first
talking
time?
top view, we're talking bottom view.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong with these people? You
Well,
don't know
then-
me from Adam.
Right. And then she messaged me wanting me to pay her money for giving me a cam show. I said, shoot, I can get that for free. Why the hell do I want to pay for it?
Well, I had one girl, and she was pretending to be a foreign woman. I don't know if she was or not,
Yeah.
but she was wanting me to take a picture of my junk and send it to
Yeah.
her. And it's like, no. And she kept begging. There's a scam out there that if you send them pictures, they will blackmail you for money.
Yep.
They find out, who you are, and they'll threaten to contact your family, your employer, and all this other good happy stuff. And
Yep.
Oh, let's see.
I've done that too, Dan. You just got to depend what view you want. But
Yep.
anyway, so they are they threatening to send it to not only your family but your employers, put it out on the internet,
Yeah.
so they can embarrass you. They want you to pay them money, so they won't do it.
Yep.
Well, guess what? If I don't send you the picture, you're not going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
I'm not even going to send that picture over the internet to a girl I'm dating. Why would I send it to somebody I don't even know?
Nope.
So, Mabel, that's Leonard Lund.
Oh, yeah.
Mabel
Yeah.
knows?
Oh,
Mabel
there.
knows who I am, but so yeah, I mean, like I said, and these scammers can be. This particular scam could be ran from the United States or anywhere.
Oh, anywhere you have access to the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, and another one is I'm a financial planner. If I see that on a girl's page, I will not let her. I will not let her into my site because I've had a couple of them. They say, "Oh, well, what are you invested in?" And then they try to get you to invest in something. I'm not
And it's
investing
usually-
my money,
And it's usually cryptocurrency now.
Bitcoin. Yeah, the cryptocurrency or whatever. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. I have no desire to buy cryptocurrency. And take a chance. Yeah, if it goes up, you make money, but if it goes down, you lose money. It's like any other stock.
Well, yeah, except there's nothing backing it except pipe dreams. You know?
Yeah, well, if
It's
I
just
can't hold it in my hand, it's not money.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, somebody asked Warren Buffett about crypto, and he says, stay as far away from it as you can get. It's not based on anything real.
You know Dogecoin? The
Yeah.
guy that started Dogecoin started as a joke.
Yep.
Hey,
he started
I'm
as
the
a joke
one,
and it
I'm
took
the one
off.
laughing there. I end up making money on it.
Well,
I know, but he started
that's
as
good.
a
But
joke.
hopefully you got out in time.
Yeah, I did. I timed that perfectly.
All right.
Yeah, right before the appearance of what's his name on Saturday Night Live. You remember that?
Was that Elon?
Elon Musk. Elon
Oh,
Musk
yeah.
was going on Saturday Night Live, and I said, "Uh-oh, I'm bailing now," And so I sold that day, and then it crashed.
Yep.
So I was okay on that. But it doesn't matter. You don't win. You have to pay capital gains on it.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, this is no fun. I have to report it. I have to report it to the IRS.
And Mabel, you're right. That is blackmail. That's criminal. But a lot of people will pay it just to keep themselves from being embarrassed. That's what
Yeah.
most blackmail does. They're trying to embarrass you, get enough embarrassment against you, so you pay them money. But yeah, begging for money. It depends on how you're begging.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would rather just have somebody say straight up, can you kick me down to 20, Dan? Watch, now I'm gonna get a dozen emails. I'd rather them just
That's
be
what I'm
straight
saying. I
and
mean,
say, yeah,
that's why I say I don't mind helping out somebody that I know what they're going to, I've even given money to somebody for they weren't sponsoring something just to help them out.
Yeah.
but it's got to be somebody I know, somebody I trust. I'm not giving money to people I don't know.
Exactly.
There's a couple people on here can tell you that I gave some money. I didn't give a lot. I'm not going to say I did, but I gave some money to help with something an event they were putting on. And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind being asked to do that by people I know. Like Bill, if I had to, but I'm going to tell you right now, I want to do it through PayPal. I don't want to do it through Gcash because I don't have Gcash, and I don't want to do it through the Yahoo because they take a larger percentage. PayPal takes less percentage, and you get the money that day.
Yeah.
So I'd
Thank you,
rather
Cindy.
do it that way. And
Nice,
everybody
Andy.
I've
How are
given money
you?
to, that's the way I've done it. It's been through PayPal. And I expect next year to be asked by those people again because it seems like it's going to be a yearly thing they put on. And I'll help again this coming year.
Yeah,
the
that's
next time
something.
that comes about.
Yeah.
Because
That's something
it's
you feel
something
good
that
about.
I think is a good thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you feel good about it. So
if I can help out, I'll do it. Like, let's say maybe you want to put on a feed for some kids in your neighborhood, or you want to feed help feed some school kids, or buy some school supplies for a school. If I could, it may not be a lot, but if I had the money, I would give you a little for that. I'm down with that. Kids need the education. Kids need school supplies. Poor families, if you want to put on a spaghetti dinner for the kids,
Oh, he
and
probably
even the whole
wasn't.
family, if that's what you want to do, as long as I know that's
Tim,
what you're going to do.
Tim, he probably wasn't American, right?
What's that?
He was saying he saw a man begging for money, and 4 hours later he saw him eating a 2K meal at a very nice restaurant.
Oh yeah, and that happens here in the States.
yeah.
Some guy, I can't remember where they were at, followed some beggar, some woman that was begging, back to a high expensive car, was a Lexus that she parked away from where she begged at, or he begged at. I want to say it was a woman, the first one of them. And she went to her Lexus and got in her Lexus, which is a very expensive car, and drives away. And he confronted her, and she said, "What are you following me? You can't be doing this. You're on a public street. I can do any damn thing I want, as long as I don't physically, touch you." But yeah, he saw her begging, and he followed her back to her car, and she was getting in her car. But that they say that happens quite a bit in some of these cities.
The money thing, the request for money, that comes out of nowhere. I think that's gonna be with us, But you could always, like you guys have suggested, you could also handle that in a very, very nice and polite way, But I never am offended by people that I know sharing some of the things, their trials and tribulations that they're going through.
Well, like I
I'm
said,
never
know the
offended
person-
by people that I know, asking me for a little bit of help now and again.
But people I don't know, especially, I've given money to people on the street that were begging when I was in the Navy. I had a guy said, he wanted something to eat. I said, if you really want something to eat, well, there's a restaurant over there. Let's go over and I'll buy it. You won't have to buy. I had another guy tell me, hey, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I need this much money to get a bottle. He was a wino. I pulled the money out and gave it to him because he was honest with me. That's what you need. Here you go. Go get yourself a bottle.
And the thing is, I think Calvin, we were talking Calvin earlier about Sunshine Children. I think really the most beautiful thing about his channel, is when he gives that line, one that I believe in with all my heart, and that is that when you help someone else, you're helping yourself. And
Mabel, who are you wanting to help? And what I would need is your PayPal address. If there's somebody that you're going to put like a feed on or something like that, if you're going to do it, let me know, and I might only send you $5 US, but I'll send you a little bit. I can't send a lot. Like I said, I'm a poor boy. I'm trying to get my bills paid off, and I want to save up some money so I can have all my bills paid off and retire. That's what I want to do. Whether I stay here where I'm at, which I hope not to, because I really don't like cold weather,
Hey, Pacal.
or go somewhere else, which is what I'd really like to do, but that's going to depend on my health. I may never be able to leave the States. I may just have to hunker down here during the winter, and when it gets really cold, stay home and not do anything. But I've done that before. That gets old, though. But
Real fast.
that's why I said, to me, that's one of the reasons I'd want to move to the Philippines, so I wouldn't have to do that. Yeah, you hunker down for rain, but how many days in a row does it rain?
Yeah.
And do you have time when it's cold all day?
Well, I think Dan was saying it's been 45 days rain straight, right?
Yeah, but how often that during the day? Is it all day or just for an hour or two? Because some places only
not
rain
all
for an
day.
hour or two, then it quits.
Not all day. What were we talking? I was looking at some. We're talking rain.
Yeah, when it rains where you're at, is it an all-day rain usually, or is it like
Oh
for an
my
hour or
gosh!
two?
Not really. It's just for a little while, but it rains frequently here. And the difference between here and Thailand, where we were in Thailand, actually anywhere we travel in Thailand, it's the sun was shining. We didn't have a single day of rain the whole month we were there.
You were lucky.
Yeah, so it's really
Paul
weird.
was there.
He was there.
When
You were
Paul
there
was
during
here, he
high
got washed
season, right?
out.
Dan, you were there what they call high season, right?
Yeah.
Well, high season usually dry over there.
Yeah,
They
the
call it high
entire
season
month of
because it's high
January
tourist season.
is high
Yeah.
tourist season. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what's
season
weird?
is when it rains
I'll
a
tell you
lot
what
and
was
stuff.
strange was watching everybody disappear all at the same time. January 31st came, the airport was packed. I mean, packed with people. And and then the very next day after that, it was like a ghost town. All the vendors had packed up. You could walk down the street, nobody was around. It was such a strange feeling. I really like Manila, guys. I don't know why it is, but
I'm
when
going
we
to tell
left,
you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. If I wouldn't want to live in Manila, but living close to it would be cool. So you
I
can
really like Manila.
Yeah.
see. I'm
I like
trying
Cebu,
to.
I like Manila. I'll tell you the difference between what was going on in Bangkok and then when I arrived in Manila is like night and day and night. So in
Yeah,
Bangkok, they were doing all they
Go
could
ahead, Mabel.
to extract every dollar they possibly could out of the tourists. And then you fly into Manila and everything is just the same as it always is. No one is running around getting excited about not being able to eat tomorrow. The vendors are out there, they're not hammering any tourists, and so I was really surprised by the difference, I became very disappointed in Bangkok for that because, here we're coming out of this lockdown era, this lockdown, and you think that people would have a kinder, more giving disposition because they hadn't worked in a long time. But they were nailing people for all they were worth in Bangkok, and it makes me not want to go there again. I mean, they were hammering everybody for money, like it was the last dollar that they'd ever seen in their entire lives. And I think there has to be a give me in there somewhere. You have to at
I don't
least.
think so.
Manila works really hard. This is the difference between the culture. Manila works really hard to endear themselves to you. In other words, people, places, and things. They call for you. They call your name. They take the time to get to know who you are. But in Bangkok, they could care less. They just want your money in their pocket. And they'll do anything they can in order to get your money in their pocket, and the prices were elevated to a point that made me nauseous. You know, in other words, it was not a good experience. You know, and so as much as I like Bangkok, love it as a matter of fact, I was really turned off by that whole experience. I could see why people would not want to go there again and make a return trip. And you would think that they would be doing everything in their power to get people back there. But the experience in the Philippines and Manila and Cebu and other places, totally different. Totally different. You know, they were like helpful, friendly, inviting. You know, did I say helpful?
Yeah.
Well,
And it wasn't
like I said,
all
I
about
like
y'all.
I
You
like
know?
large cities. I really do, but I don't
Mhm.
like living in them. I like living near them.
You know, I
When
could totally picture
when I
myself
was
living
stationed
in
in San
Manila.
Diego, I lived outside of San Diego. Now I was still in the suburbs of San Diego when I lived off ship.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you're close to it, it's cheaper if you live outside. Your cost of living, and unless you're going to be downtown in the bars and the restaurants every day, to me, there's no reason to live down there. I'm not going to be in the bars. I'm not going to be in the restaurants. I'm not going to,
No,
you know.
wait.
I'm just saying this is me. This is me.
I missed
The place
something.
I'm
You
going to
said,
live is going to have a decent mall, so I got the mall I can go to every
did
day.
you say Manila?
Any
No.
large city. I don't want to live in any
Oh,
large
any
city.
large city. Yeah. Well, I can understand that, but listen, there's a whole world out there that doesn't involve drinking and wild women. You know, I mean, that's the whole thing.
No, there's not. But I mean, to me, unless that's what I'm doing, I don't need the large city. I can do everything else in a smaller town.
Yeah.
I lived in Batavia, which is halfway between Rochester and Buffalo. It's almost dead center, not quite, but almost dead center. Just a hair closer to Rochester. It had the mall. Now the mall wasn't that great, but they had the shopping centers around it. They had enough restaurants for a daily. If I just want to go get a cup of coffee or grab a burger, they had those. They had your Dunkin' Donuts. They had the Tim Hortons. They
Oh,
didn't
I
have
ain't
Krispy
living.
Kreme though.
You know me. I ain't living
No,
anywhere
they didn't
unless they
have
have
a
a
Krispy
Dunkin'
Kreme.
Donuts.
They had
I ain't living
Starbucks.
I
anywhere.
tell you, have you ever
Yeah.
had Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Well, see, I
I'm talking
tried.
to Dan here.
I tried to muster up all I could, you know, to go into a Tim Hortons, and I'd pass by it, I'd look at it, and I'd go, nah, and then I walk right by it, and I'd go into the Dunkin'. No, I
You might
just
have,
couldn't,
you might have a different opinion
you know.
if you had ever
Just-
gone into Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is good.
Yeah, I'm
they're
gonna have
good.
to. I'm gonna have to try it one day.
I
You're gonna
like
have to come
their,
back to the U.S. probably.
I actually
Yeah.
like their specialty coffees. Their cold ones better than Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the donuts, either one's pretty good. Now the coffee, I prefer Starbucks.
Oh man, I don't. I'm not really very.
Oh,
I
you know
mean,
what I discovered?
Starbucks has some good coffees.
Yeah,
But
I had
in
to. I'll tell you what. I have the same feeling as Larry does where it comes to Starbucks. You know, I don't know what it is about the coffee. I don't know if they put a little extra caffeine in it or what the deal is, but I crave it.
I'm going to tell
I
you something
crave it.
else. I'm going to tell you something else now, there, Leonard. It depends on the type of coffee you get. They got a different. You might want
Yeah.
the pipe. You might want the blonde. You might, you got to
Well,
figure out which one
I've tried
you like
quite
the
a few
best.
of them, but normally I just drink straight black coffee. And what I find, and I don't mind strong coffee, but Starbucks is bitter. And I've had a lot. Drank a coffee at a lot of Starbucks, and it's always bitter.
Well,
I
you know,
can't say
Tim
that.
says, "Hey, Tim's saying there's a new Tim Hortons at SM Clark, so
Hey, there
that
you
might
go.
be that might be my first experience going into Tim Hortons
Dan,
next time I
if
visit
they're-
Clark."
if they're comparable to what they are in Canada and US, you'll be impressed.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm gonna give that a try.
Yeah, because I like
Tim
their
Hortons
coffee.
does have good coffee. I when I was working there at the Delphi, the engineering center, right up the road, maybe half a mile or so up the road from where I worked, they had that was the first Tim Horton in that area.
Yeah.
Okay, in Rochester area, and I used to go in there, and I loved their iced cappuccinos, but I'd also get a hot cup of coffee and a donut, or they used to have a bread bowl soup.
Oh yeah,
They had a chili bread bowl soup. I loved it too.
that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe
I used to go to Tim Hortons quite a bit. There's one in Batavia.
You may have to stop drinking coffee earlier in the day if you have trouble.
I worked day shifts, so I couldn't tell you.
No,
I did. I worked day shifts.
Ma Bill said that she didn't used to drink coffee, but now she's starting to like it. The problem
It's
is
a required
it's pretty
taste.
hard for her to go to sleep.
Coffee's the elixir of life, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to drink it in the morning.
Early in the
drink
morning.
decaf in the afternoon.
Early in the
I used to
morning.
be able
Get
to
up
drink
at
a
5.
pot. I used to be able to drink a pot of coffee or more and fall asleep while I was drinking it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, guys? We've gone like two and a half hours or so, and I'm late for my appointment. You know which appointment I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, you can't have your Dunkin' today.
Donkey
I have
Donuts
to
will
show
still
up
be
there. I have to. I have to.
Hey, if you go a half hour late, you're on Filipino time.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. No, I probably won't be late, you know, because we're in the Philippines. Larry, why don't you lead us out with your
All right,
famous
everyone.
words
I
of
want you to
wisdom?
remember be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, always try to have fun. Bye.
Amen.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here. I truly
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And we will see you on the next live.
And Mabel, don't forget to send me that information I need. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Abby.